Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo, and we are back with some race highlights, and we've got two really fun races for you. We've got first up the new Daily Race B in the Super Formula at Fuji, and yeah, this is a standing start, and as you predicted, absolute murder in turn 1. Chaos galore. We haven't had a clean turn 1 yet in this race, and this race doesn't disappoint as well. We're starting from P10, second gear start. Make sure you do that a little bit faster off the start line. And going into turn 1, you can see I'm going to brake nice and early here because I don't want to plow into anyone, and you can see no one else seems to want to do that this week. I don't know what people's problem is, but they just don't understand you cannot go into that corner the way they're doing. I have yet to see a single race with a clean start through that corner. It's absolutely crazy. Now we have one driver going off. We're going to try and go around the outside of this car on the right side. Pretty tricky to do because we are getting a little bit of turbulence from the cars in front, but we managed to do that up into P3 with a nice overtake there, and now we're going to try and take Cuba Warrior. Now watch this. I am actually pretty happy with this overtake. It was a lovely move. As we go here, we go to the left hand side, fake it, back up the inside, dart up the inside, and brake nice and late there. Just about make the apex into the corner, and a very nice move up into P2. So from P10 to P2 in under a lap. Now let's just watch that in slow motion replay. You can see that little dart up the inside, just avoiding the back of the car, putting the front end up onto the apex, making the corner, and then just holding that line, and then just getting on the throttle there just to keep ourselves ahead. Really good racing from Warrior as well there to keep it without contact as well. Brilliant stuff. And up into P2 we go. So now we are behind John in 60 seconds, and he's got a bit of a gap in front, 1.6 seconds, so it's going to take us a little bit of time to get there. However, onto this curb, we have a big moment, just about save it. However, Cuba Warrior behind us, unfortunately, does the exact same thing as myself and loses it. Now, probably he loses it because of the dirty air, bit of turbulence loss, no real grip when you're following another car. And to be honest, if that would have been me, I would have probably binned it as well with what I did, but I was lucky I wasn't in turbulent air when it happened. So, skipping on to lap 3, and you can see we've managed to catch up a fair bit to P1 now after losing a little bit of time with that spin on the rear, and we're going through purple sector trying to see if we can get nice and close. Now this is where the trouble starts to develop because it's very hard to follow in these cars. Again, I don't know what the problem is with these cars, but these new Super Formula cars are extremely difficult to follow another car with because the loss of aero is very, very high. Hopefully PD can just get on top of this with an update soon, because it does start to feel like they're not bothering. You can see myself taking unusual lines because what I'm trying to do is avoid picking it up and just try and get out of that slipstream so that on the corners I'm not getting affected by it. But we're getting a slipstream on this straight now. I'm using a bit of boost here, but I decided to stop using that because I don't want to waste it. I'm not close enough to go for a move, so it's very tactical this week on Daily Race B. Save your boost for when you need it. So there's no point me using it there because I was too far behind. I need to be within half a second at the start of the straight, really, around half a second mark, to start using that boost to go for a possible overtake with the slipstream. So again, you can see here, following through this left-hand corner, you can see how much I have to lift off. Look at the lift I give through that corner. Now, normally, that is completely flat out when you're solo. Now, I do think that they give this car a little bit too much downforce, in my personal opinion. I love driving it, but I don't think it's the most realistic thing I've ever seen, going through that whole section flat out without lifting, which is, it's a bit strange. But you can see there we're around 6/10 behind, and what we're trying to do is stay around this gap and try and get within about half a second for the main straight. So just trying to keep it tidy through here, just being careful on the throttle. Really advise you try and be careful on that throttle as you're coming out some of these slowest corners, in particular this corner here. Look at that, a little bit of snap when you're following a car. Be extremely careful there. That is an easy place that a lot of people are going to lose the car this week. So into the final corner now, down to second gear, and then an upshift to third gear, and trying to get on the power nice and early. You can see there we're using the boost now because I'm around 6/10 and it should come down quite drastically. So I'm going to use this boost up, lift off it a little bit there, and then back onto it because I wasn't sure if I was going to go for it, but I decided with that slipstream we're going to be able to go for a move. Now John is going to go defensive, but watch what I do. I wait for him to go there, and then I tuck back up under really late when he thinks I'm not going to go for it, and we make that move down to first gear, hold the braking point, onto the throttle, and try and get a nice strong exit. Now John is going to try and fight back here with a bit of boost on the left hand side, but you can see he's a little bit too far back, and he's going to back out of that one. And yeah, that is us off into the lead now, and hopefully for a win. So yeah, good little combo this. It's enjoyable, but what I will say is I wouldn't risk doing this race on your main account, purely because turn 1, people are driving into that turn 1 with no respect, no braking, and even in the highest ranked lobbies I've been in so far throughout the day 1, day 2, people just absolutely destroying people on that turn 1. It is literally death corner. So yeah, enter at your own risk on this daily race B. But we're going to go on to daily race C now, where we had an absolutely amazing battle. This race, I really recommend you watch this race all the way through. Unfortunately, Gran Turismo decided not to save my replay. I did save it. I've got it as proof on the live stream. I pressed save on the replay, but it wasn't in my save replays. If any of you have had that problem before, let me know in the comment section if you've had a similar problem with replays, because it's very strange. I definitely clicked save, but it's not saved into my replays. But I did save the footage onto my PS5, so I've got it here. Me and Bradley, this is going to be a race to watch, and this is one of the reasons why I absolutely love playing Gran Turismo. Races like this with drivers like Bradley, it makes it up for all the dirty drivers you come across on the game. I'm telling you now, this was such an enjoyable experience. And even though this race has no strategy, it really does show you don't really need a strategy all the time to have a brilliant race. Now this race, a lot of people are using the Supra. I really recommend you lot give the Nissan GTR 18 a go. You might think, but that car hasn't got the straight line speed. But trust me, it does not matter, because this car is so much quicker through the corners, the downforce on the car, and you will be very, very thankful on the later laps with this car, because on laps 6, 7 and 8, this car does not fade one little bit. Its grip just remains maximum. So you can see we skipped to lap 2 here now, and we're getting in the slipstream to Bradley around half a second back into turn 1, trying to get a strong exit. So down to first gear, up to second gear nice and early, and just trying to get that throttle down gradually, just so that we don't spin up too much on the exit of the corner. Now you can see I'm at pretty much the perfect distance here, getting that gap down to 4 tenths as we come through here, and just under 4 tenths as we go up the hill. That's kind of good, because you're going to get the slipstream and be able to possibly get into 6th gear on the straight and just drag our way past them. So you can see here, into that slipstream, up to 6th gear. Can we go for a move? Now this is ideal, because we're getting the use of 6th gear, which you won't get if you're in the lead of the slip. So round the outside, can we brake really late? We brake as late as we can. Round the outside, he gives us space, we give him space back. Brilliant race in there, absolutely amazing. Now he clips the curb a little bit there. That gives me the opportunity to tuck back up the inside and try and get a move done on the inside. You can see he can't cover it because we're there. Down to second gear, he's going to try and hang it round the outside. The problem with that on that corner is it's off camber. There is very little grip on that left hand side, so it's very difficult to even keep the car on the track, let alone go for a move on the outside. So I managed to make that move up into P1, but this battle is not over, chat. This race was absolutely amazing and so enjoyable. Considering it's only 8 laps, I really enjoyed this race, and I think a lot of people in the live stream enjoyed it. You can watch this footage on the live stream also if you want to watch the live action. It was really enjoyable. So again, into this final corner, Bradley again a little bit quicker than me at this combination. I'm not going to try and say I'm faster than Bradley. Bradley was definitely quicker overall than me, but in a slipstream I was able to hang with him. So the advantage I've got is here, he gets a bit too close into turn 1. Every time he's a little bit too close. Now we get a bit of a wide entry, but what that does is it gives me reasonable exit there. But you can see I'm 3 tenths ahead. Now that's not too bad for going for a move. However, you can see he's getting closer and closer and closer. What you want to be is like 3 tenths going up this part of the hill. That's pretty much an ideal distance to get an overtake done. But you can see at the moment he's a little bit close. He's going to go down the left hand side now for the overtake, and I think possibly he goes into 6th gear here. So listen out and look, he doesn't get any momentum, so my guess is he's probably gone into 6th gear there instead of staying in 5th, and that stopped the momentum on the car. So we've been able to defend that. However, I go a little bit deep. He's going to try and hang it round the outside there, but not able to do that, and we hold on to this P1 on lap 3. So again, some great driving, no contact, brilliant stuff. And again, we're on the end of lap 3. You can see he's getting very, very close. Again, maybe a little bit too close, because this close to the car in front, you get a bit of a wash off, and you can actually see not able to carry the speed through that left hand corner when you're really, really close to the car in front. This is, again, I hope PD can get on top of this and just make following a little bit easier, because even in Group 3 cars, you can feel a bit of a wash off when you get within 2 tenths of the car in front. So now we're working our way up to start lap 4 and into turn 1, and again we've got enough of a gap to cover this inside. He's not going to go for a lunge there. He's going to try and get that slipstream on this straight. Let's see if he gets a better gap this time. So 3 tenths out of the corner. Now this is looking a bit better for him. You can see what he's going to do. He's actually going to put his car out of the slipstream, does he? Let's see. No, he's staying in the slipstream this time, because he's actually got a really nice run. Let's see if he manages to get the move done on lap 4 as we go up the hill. Is he going to go to the left? He's going to go to the left hand side. He's got a real good slipstream there, and he's actually going to be on the outside of us going into this braking zone. But I'm not going to give this up. We're going to fight this one. You can see he's just about a car length ahead, but I can brake a little bit later. Down to third gear, down to second gear. Hold the inside, using the bollards on the right there. A little bit of hitting on them. And then you can see he's going to have the outside line. We're going to try and hold the inside. He gives us a space there, and he manages to get the better exit with that outside line. So back up to P1 for Bradley. And again, absolutely brilliant racing going on. So now we've just got to try and stay with him, sit in that slipstream, and try and see if we can find the way past. Now, the problem with this track is through these sections here now, it's not really overtaking opportunities at Spa in Group 3 through this section. There is some opportunities if you get good exits, but in general, if the car in front is hooking the corners up, it's very, very difficult to even get anywhere near a move, because you get a bit of understeer through this corner, so it's hard to follow through there, and then you're into this braking zone. But it's not a heavy braking zone, it's a third gear corner. You're dropping down to 78 miles per hour there, and not much less than that. And yeah, you can see it's not really heavy braking zones, it's kind of mid-speed corners, third gear. So at this point, we're not really going to be able to catch him up. It's all about getting a good exit from here, which then leads you onto a good exit from this corner, and seeing if you can go for the final opportunity and overtake into the final corner. But again, a little bit too far behind it. You can see we're going to get that slipstream, and we are going to catch up a little bit, and we're actually in a good range. When you're about this far back, it's actually quite helpful because you don't get too much understeer on this left hand corner. You can actually stay with it. Just a tiny little lift off the throttle. You can see me just playing with the throttle a little bit there just to keep it on the track. And now into the braking zone, braking in between that 150 and the 100 board just to try and slow it down. Again, using the curbs up into second gear early for the final chicane, and then slowly feeding that throttle in and powering our way over the finishing line. You can see at the moment we're actually doing okay. We've got a 4-second lead to the car behind, so even though we're fighting like this, we're actually starting to pull away a bit, which is pretty damn good if you think about it, because we've been battling, going side by side through corners, and now we're going to see if we can get that lead back in on this lap 5. So again, we're in the slipstream. Can we go for the move? We've got almost a perfect distance between myself and Bradley. You can see three tenths back there. 3 tenths is ideal. Now we're going to get that slipstream, and again, we're going to be able to get into 6th gear and use that extra speed of 6th gear. So you can see, if you're not in a slipstream, you don't go into 6th gear on this straight, you stay in 5th. However, in a slipstream, you can use it. I'm going to go for an extra little bit of slipstream. Can we hang it around the outside again? Will we be able to make this corner? He's got the outside line. I'm going to go around the left-hand side. Can I make it work this time? We're going to give him that inside again and hope that we can go back up on the inside. This time he covers it. He's got that covered, so we're going to go down the left-hand side and try and go back round the outside. Some absolutely amazing racing yet again. And again, you can see the outside line just doesn't have the grip with the off-cambered corner. You just lose out, and we're still in P2. But yet again, brilliant stuff going on between myself and Bradley in this race, and this really does highlight why I love this game. Brilliant stuff. As again, lap 6 now, we're back up behind Bradley and going for another opportunity to try and get ourselves back in the lead. And again, we've got a very good slipstream, getting the revs up to 159, 160, and then into 6th gear, using that slipstream. We're definitely in a better position this time, getting a bit more momentum as we go down the left hand side. We're almost dead level with him going into the braking. We can brake a little bit later, but we just got to be careful we don't run off wide. And then again, Bradley has a little moment on the rear there, loses a little bit of traction, and that gives us a chance to get back up into P1 on lap 6 with just 2.5 laps to go. So again, brilliant stuff going on. Now we're going to go through this right hand corner, and you can see, even with all this side-by-side action and absolutely brilliant racing going on, which is definitely losing us lap time, we're losing out quite a bit, you can see that we're pulling away, and it's brilliant to see. So again, lap 7, going to come up to this now, into this turn 1. Can we hold him off? He's going to go for a move possibly, so let's see. He's going to get in that slipstream. Will he try and get out of the slipstream to give himself a bit more of a gap? Let's see as we work our way down this straight. You can see he goes out of the slipstream to stop himself picking up too much pace, because he wants to get more momentum up this hill and to get this move done. Now, keep an eye on this. He's going to get that slipstream. Is he going to get past? Now, I think he might have made a little mistake again here. I think he goes into 6th gear. So watch the momentum on his car. It just fades off. So I think he just went into 6th gear there. You really want to stay in 5th gear and just try and drag yourself alongside. So we managed to hold that off, but we go a little bit deep in. That's going to give him the opportunity to maybe go around the outside. However, he had a little snap on the rear on the curb. It looked like he clipped the curb. And again, we managed to hold on lap 7 in this race. Again, brilliant stuff going on. A really intense race, and this is what for a daily race, to having this kind of experience is brilliant stuff. as we work our way halfway through lap 7 now, 1.5 laps to go. And you can see as we come through this corner, you can see the gap that we've actually built up even with this going on. Have a look at the gap on the track map. We've got a P3 driver not too far, but 5-6 seconds behind, but everyone else miles behind, and we're battling like this. So trust me, Nissan GTR 18, give it a go. You'll thank me, trust me. This car is better than the Supra. I am convinced this car is the car to go for this race. There is possibly other cars that can get close to it, but you will be very grateful when you see how easy this car is to drive around here. It's much nicer than the Supra. The Supra is a death trap. So again, final lap. He's going to go for a move. However, he tries to tuck up behind us and go up the inside there, and he ends up bump drafting me. And that's quite beneficial to me. But we're going to go defensive here as he tries to brake really late. He's not going to be able to slow that down there, so he brakes a little bit earlier. And now we're just covering the inside. Again, he's not going to be able to go up this inside. I have a little bit of a moment there again, but again, he can't really overtake me in the middle of the apex. So we've got this position at the moment covered, but we're going to have to drive every corner from this point pretty much faultless, because one opportunity and he's there. You can see he's right up behind us, 2 temps behind us. And again, through this left-hand corner, you can see he's very quick on the apex, but because we've got that advantage of having no slipstream, it means we can get slightly better exits off the corners because we're coming out the corner a little bit faster. Again, through this left-hand corner, you can see Bradley getting very close on the entrance. But again, you can see the car just washing off on the front end. And that's what I mean. I think we need to get this racing. If they could just make a few alterations to how cars follow, we could have even more races like this. Every race could be a brilliant race with different people. It'd be amazing. But this race so far has definitely been one of the best races that I've had on Gran Turismo 7 so far. Into this right-hand corner. Again, getting on that throttle as early as we can. Now, this is the corner I've got to nail, this right-hand corner. And again, little lift off the throttle, back onto the throttle maximum, use the curb on the left, and actually nailed that quite well there. You can see we got the gap up to 3.8. Is he going to be too far behind in the final corner to go for a move? This will be very, very interesting as we work our way through this flat out left hand corner. So we don't need to really lift when we're in the lead. It's completely flat out there. You can see he's 2 tenths behind. Will he ever go up the inside? I'm going to cover the inside just in case. And you can see not really much he could do there. We had the inside covered. Now into the final corner. And we're going to take the win in this Daily Race C. So some brilliant races there. A fun race on Daily Race B. And an absolutely amazing race there on Daily Race C. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you thought about the racing. Also, let me know about that replay issue. Be interesting if other people have had that issue where they've saved the replay and it's not saved. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll see you all again soon for more content.